See how blurry it is?
Back body.
There, now it's not blurry.
Now it is.
What? Okay, let's go. Does everybody sleeping in?
What? Everyone's sleeping. Happy Sunday, fun day. We are underway. Getting all choked up, what more can I say? All in a rhyming word, so I guess we gotta start. All right, to get started today, we're gonna come all the way to the back part of our mat. There's Susan's iPad to be correct.
And Val?
And Val, wow, good morning, ladies. All right.
There they are, ready and raring to go.
Recalibration here. Let's get it started. To get started, we're gonna come all the way to the backs of our mats. I'm gonna stand a little bit further back for not so obvious reasons, but whatever. Anyways, I'd like you to bring your feet with an alignment of the toes aiming straight forward. I'm gonna take some nice opportunities here to find some comfort and relaxation for the body before we work it. So as we warm up, I'd like you to be mindful of how your body feels today. Let's get the hands, cup them slightly, turn them internally so that they're facing towards the body. Let's draw the shoulders up, and then I'd like you to bend the elbows and draw them outwards. So draw them right out to the sides of the body. So we're kind of like hauling or carrying something in our arms underneath the arm itself. So give them that sensation. Now, while you keep this, I'd like you to crowd out the chest. And then let the arms just drape back down. And that's kind of your normal posture position. And if you ever need to get into it, it's a good way to kind of get your thoracic extension with your shoulders kind of placed the right way. So let's try that again. Just relax everything. Cup the hands slightly. Draw the elbows out to the side. Draw the elbows up. And then crowd out the chest. And then relax the arms. Nice. Now, to continue with the warm-up, take the right hip, push it to the right. Bring it back center, push it to the left. And then oscillate side to side slowly. I'm going to put my hands on the waist just for a spot to have them land. And while I do the hands on the waist, I'd like you to take your elbows and squeeze them together. So we have an expansion through the chest. Keep the spine in an elongation mode. So you're kind of growing and crowding out as we gently push side to side. See if you can increase the range of motion. Again, we're not trying to be heroes on any of these movements. We just want to find a nice full stretch, really, as we move side to side. Now we're going to progress this by pushing to the right and then drawing the hip backward. So we're kind of circling all the way back, all the way over to the left, coming all the way forward. So we have a pelvic thrust of sorts. We're going to stop on that point and then reverse. Take time with this movement, go nice and slow. This is really a warming and stretching opportunity. Folding in is okay, getting that nice rotational effort all the way through the hip sockets. Come all the way back around one more time. And then we're all going to meet in the standing tall position, hands on hips, elbows squeezed together, chest is nice and proud. Now, on our mats, we practice pelvic rocking, how we rock off and down, getting the low back skin on the mat, that kind of thing. So while we hold here, I like you to kind of rock the pelvic girdle as best you can. So just a simple rotation forward, draw in the tummy as you push the hips forward, and as you kind of pull the pubis upward. It's really a muscle activation, and getting that is really hard to connect to for some of us, but that's really our pelvic base we're trying to engage. And it may be a little problematic finding it, but I'd like you to give it a few more efforts. Now, if you can, hold it up, push the legs straight, draw the spine straight, pull the elbows together in the back, crowd out the chest, and imagine you have a string on the head, pulling it high to the sky. Now, that we've created elongation, decompression of sorts through the whole body, we're going to do some hip flexion. So I'd like you to chop at the hips, keep the upper body long, neutral, not folding in, not giving in, and then slowly rising back up. So the descent is really, we're going to work on our range of motion as we come down. See if you can get a little, even if it's just fractional lower, without compromising that nice elongation, that spinal integrity. It's just really more a hip hinging, warming up exercise. Getting those gluteals lengthened out. You might feel the hamstrings working here, and that's perfectly normal. They're working isometrically. Holding knees from bending. And as we rotate our pelvic girdle, we're going to actually pull a little bit on those muscles. And that's that little bit of tension. See if you can get a little deeper. On the next rep, hold up, relax the arms, shake them out, draw the shoulders up to the ears, turn the palms to face forward, cup them again. Remember how we did it a little earlier? So with a slight cupping now, I'd like you to draw the elbows directly backwards. Nice, proud chest, beautiful. As we serve the arms forward, I'd like you to pull the elbows into the ribs and then bring the forearms to meet out in front. Baby fingers also. Now the hands are still cupped. I'd like you to kind of push forward the hands and then try to raise the arms ever so slightly. Now, right down from the middle all the way down into the lower back. Hopefully have a little bit of tension. I'd like you to hold that tension as you keep the arms out. Draw the hips backwards. Keep those hips drawing backwards. Serve out the arms a little more if you can. And then trace the elbows around the ribs. Pull all the way back as you keep the lean. It's a slight lean forward. Chest is proud. Elbows going back. There is no tension in the neck, right? Good. I like when you answer yes to the right questions, right? Now, raise the elbows, extend forward, palms facing the sky, push out as far as you can. And then as you stand tall, draw the elbows back in, keep the palms facing to the sky, squeeze those elbows together, and then release, and squeeze and release. And do that a few more times. So this exterior shoulder rotation is simply what we're practicing right now. Great little exercise you can do anytime during the day, kind of engaging those muscles and helping them to perform. Now hold back, release the arms, release the forearms, or rotate the forearms, rotate the forearms so that they're facing directly out from the sides of the body. Kind of like the what's up look on your body, right? Now we're going to keep that as we extend we're going to keep the arms extending out in the same plane as we reach opposite sides with the fingers, pulling long the arms, keeping the elbows, the arms at shoulder heights. Take a big breath in, crowd out the chest, pull the thumbs backwards. Hold on this for a couple seconds. Really important here is that your fingers are pulling away the arms from the body and you're crowding out the chest. Make sure that low back is secure by engaging those six-pack muscles. Now bend both elbows, put 90 degrees in them, rotate the palms to face forward. Field goal. And now we're going to just draw the elbows in towards the side of the body. And we're going to pull the hands backwards. Keep those palms open. It's a slight cupping still. Chest is nice and proud. Chest proud as we push the hands all the way up to the sky. Slowly up and slowly down. Drawing back, very important here. Forearms are what you're drawing back, not elbows, not hands. The forearms all the way up we go, and slowly down as we pull back, and slowly up as we pull back the arms. Let's do this one more time. And this time we're going to bring our hands down onto hips, squeeze the elbows together, chest is proud, and we're going to come back to hip hinging. So we fold forward, I'd like you to keep the spine elongated and slowly rising back up. Very important, the cadence of the movement is slow. As we go through this movement pattern, I'd like you to cue in on a few things. Making sure that your butt is initiating a pull backwards, loading posteriorly into our legs is what we're trying to do. Mitigating some of the use of the dominant front leg muscles as we create that leverage The heel of each foot is where we feel most of the weight bearing as we fall lower to the ground. And as we rise back up, I'm gonna hold up this time. Relax the arms, shake them out. Great job. Take your right foot, step it forward. I'm gonna come onto my mat. Back foot is up off, sorry, back heel is up off the floor. So on this position, again, it's all about stability, finding the right width and distance apart of the feet. We're going to take our hands back on the hips again, just because we're lazy, we want to put them there. And we're going to drive the heel to the earth. Towards the earth may be the possibility that we're best able to achieve, but both are acceptable. So now pushing up and then driving down with tension through the whole movement. I'd like you to lean into that front leg a little bit, kind of like you chopped on that right hip. Push forward. I'd like you to resist the movement forward. So let's initiate a push from the back foot forward. And imagine now, or not just imagine, activate an internal rotation of the ball of the big toe on that right foot. Try to push it into the earth as you drive the heel backwards. And as you let the piston action take over, I'd like you to keep the internal rotation of the ball of the big toe prominent through the whole movement pattern. Now, if you feel that right gluteal starting to go, hey, this feels like work, you're kind of on point right now. All right, now come back up into the toes, hold up on the toes, extend the arms forward. So now we're imparting more load into that right cheek muscle, that gluteal. If you felt it instantly, good. And if you didn't, it's going to catch up, I promise you. Separate the fingers widely, raise the hands so that you're about eye level. Hold on that as you lean in a little more. Hold on this as you let the arms lower down, rotate the palms to face open, right above where your hips are, and then use the thumbs to pull the arms backwards. Elbows are locked out, chest is proud. Slowly bring them forward, rotate the palms internally to the face, bring them up about eye level, and then slowly rotate back. Same thing, all the way back. That ball of the big toe, got a nice push on it, right? All right, now hold up the arms, piston the left heel, come back up under the toes, sweep the arms down and back, and then do that one more time. Piston down, piston up, arms sweep down and back, hands come over heart, step the back foot forward and switch up sides. Nice. Now, let's start with hands on hips. Let's get the ball of the big toe on that left foot, pushing into the earth. It may not feel like much of an effort, but it's more activation that we're trying to accomplish. Let's take that left heel, drive it to the earth. But as we lean into this, I'd like you to find a body appropriate amount of work. So that chop through that left hip, allowing us to keep the spine long, tension free through the neck, as we piston slowly up and down on that right foot. Now, the next time, we're going to hold up, extend the arms out. Fingers are separated widely, eye level. And then sweep the arms down, open, and up. Just like we did on the opposite side. Slowly through. Now we're going to add both of these movements together. On the next one up, hold the arms up, piston the foot, push back up, arms sweep down and back, all the way up, piston down, piston up, arms go down and back. One more time up, piston that foot, sweep the arms back, sweep forward, bring hands over heart, and step the back foot forward. Two sides done, but we're not done. I'm going to come back into the middle part of my mat, bringing the feet out to the, feet out to the side. Slowing on my words today, verbally, totally macro. I'm gonna create an inward rotation of the toes, and I'm gonna try to separate the toes, so. Ball of each big toe. I'd like you to find that connected to the mat. I've lifted off my little toes, and I'm gonna try to spread my toes and then reapply them down onto the mat. And if you look down, if there's a little gap between the toes, perfect, and if there's no gap, fine, you try, that's all we had to do. We're gonna bring straightness to the legs. There's an angling inward towards the center line of the knees, so we have that going on. We have our belly pulling up and in, and our chest proud. We're gonna put our hands on our belly itself, and ask you to cough. And if you want, if you can, as you cough, try to feel what's going on in the palms or around the base of the hand itself. That cough muscle is your, your,
Okay, move on.
or moving on, it's the, anyways.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's do it.
We're gonna fold halfway forward while we keep the hands on the belly. And we're gonna pull that belly up and in, so we can feel our hands as the muscles, feel in our hands as the muscles start to pull up and in. And I can keep that muscle active as we come all the way back up. All right, cough. Feel the muscles. Keep the muscles active as you hold halfway down. If you feel the muscles fall off during the movement, try your best to keep them nice and active during the whole movement. Come back up, hold up, relax. Keep the feet in the same spot. All right, that's your transverse abdominis. Finally remembered it. All right, now I'd like you to take your heels and push them into the earth, bring some straightness to the leg. And then we're going to practice this one more time slightly differently. I'd like you to kind of let the knees bend and shoot into the center line. And then straighten the legs, driving the heels down. All right, now hold that down. Some external and internal rotation is what we're going to practice now by taking the ball of each big foot, pushing into the mat, and then trying to rotate isometrically the toes in towards each other. So you get a nice little rotational effort in those inner thighs. Hold on that. I'm bringing hands over heart. My legs are vibrating already. Yours might be the same. Holding, creating that internal rotation. Those muscles may vibrate, that's fine. And then relax that, stand tall. Step your toes straight forward. Bring your arms straight out in front, and then lower down to squat. Now this is a wide stance squat, and they increase the mobility of our hip. And if we can, try to take it down as deep as you can. So not singly, but probably one of the more important exercises anyone can do is exactly what we're doing right now. So much integration of our core and our joints, the hips, the knees, and the ankles goes on with a simple squat. Pelvic base is active, the joints and the muscles that interact and allow the joints to move are not only working, they're lengthening and shortening in a pattern that allows them to be functionally better. So this is why squats are often referred to as a great exercise, in addition to some other reasons too. Now, on the next rep, hold up. Bring hands on the hips, grab out the chest. This time as we squat, we're going to add a little bit of progression, and it's simply isometrically activating the external rotators on the hips. Sounds complicated, but all I'm going to ask you to do is try to turn your heels out to the side. And that little bit of activation should be felt right on around the hips. We're going to keep that activation as we descend into our squat. Now, it may limit the range of motion that we experienced previously, but I like to try to keep it active for the whole range down and full range up.
Why are we acting on our heels?
Well, the hands on hips are because we don't want to cantilever this. We want to balance the weight back into the heels. Now, adding on to this, yeah, I know we can go deeper. That's not the point. Using the cantilever allows us to reduce some of the effective work in movement So if this is easier for you to do it as such. And if you can't, if you can, keep the external rotation with hands on the hips. Makes us depend less on a counterweight and focus more on movement quality between the high and low positions. Come on down one more time. Hold down, extend the arms out. Bounce a little bit. As you bounce, make sure your knees aren't buckling in and out. And then stand tall. Reach for the sky. As you salute the sun, grow long, fill those lungs. As you exhale, relax the arms and take it down to the mat. Good night, everybody. I'm gonna grab some water. Cheers to everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers. Excuse me. Happy Sunday. Happy Easter.
Yeah, happy Easter.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna get my heels to the corners of the mat. I'm gonna bring my feet into flexion. I'm gonna reach down and then grab my hands over top of the toes.
Your legs are bent.
So, yeah, of course. Now, with this, my shoulders have actually rotated internally. I have flexion through the spine. I like to keep that flexion and exaggerate it a little bit. So I like you to kind of flex the spine, almost like you have an imaginary string tied to the center of it, pulling backwards. So this is kind of like a modified cow position. Now with the hands pulling through the feet, I like you to kind of fold the toes downwards. And that's to the top part of the foot. So we're kind of pulling them up and down, getting that nice stretch through bottom of the foot. As we draw back that spinal column, give me a little more flexion. And then as you push the chest forward, extend tall through the spine, come up in, keep the legs in the same position, kind of got a nice little bend through them. We're nice and tall for the upper body. We're gonna unhinge to the hips with a nice elongated tall spine. I'm gonna bring hands over heart just for positioning, but if you need the support, hands on knees, that's fine. Find what's best for you. Pushing my chest towards the sun, making it nice and proud, very important. Keeping the tension free through the neck. I'm gonna try to descend backwards without collapsing into this position. So I'm gonna hold on this. Now we're gonna try to increase the range of motion by offsetting some of the effective work. We did this earlier, extend the arms forward. Now, as you extend forward the arms, see if you can lean back a little more tension through those hip flexors. Hold on it. And then we're going to release that Pilates style. Let the tailbone tuck under and then imprint each and every vertebrae that you can all the way down to your lying down. Extend the legs all the way out straight. And bring the arms all the way above the head. Pull opposites. Fingers and toes, opposite direction, pull, pull, pull. Fill it up with air, blow it out, and then Pilates style, come back up. Keep the flexion in the spine as you dive the fingers through between the feet, finding a nice release through that low back. As you inhale, walk the hands back in to staff pose. Staff meeting, here we go. Feet flexed. Back of the legs, the calves, the gastroc, pushing into the mat. It's not a big push, it's just more of a touch, if you will. Chest nice and proud as hands come over heart. Palms together. Interlock the fingers. Hold on that as you raise the elbows up. The knuckles will rotate in towards the chest. We're going to keep this nice, elongated spine, the elbows lifting high. Crowding out the chest, very important. Now, if you compress through the neck, I like you to tell that area to chill out, relax. Elbows try to rotate a little higher to the sky, holding on this for 5 seconds. Couple breaths if you'd like, breathing as your guide, and then relax everything. Dive the hands through like the finish of a Pilates style, sit up all the way through. Enjoy
for a couple of breaths. As you inhale,
Start to extend the spine, walk the hands back. Flex the feet. Calves touching, his hands come over heart, we interlock the fingers and we rotate the elbows upward as the knuckles rotate into that chest of ours, holding high, crowding out the chest, raising the elbows nice and high. Keep that internal rotation of the knuckles, holding for a couple breaths. And as you release it, release the hands, walk it forward, Pilates style, stretch it out.
you walk back in.
Lengthen back up. Hands apart, fingers interlock. Last time through this exercise, elbows rotate, proud, proud, proud for the chest. Very important that we're crowding it out. Holding long our breath, powerfully exhaling, inhaling, trying to raise those elbows fractionally more. Powerful exhale, relax, walk it out,
Hold it down, chill it out. Inhaling,
extending, coming back to staff pose just before we rotate our legs around all the way to the back and come on to all fours. All right. Finding a nice base, hands slightly wider than shoulders, knees about hip width apart with toes tucked under. Now, floating cat and cow. What the heck is that? Cat and cows are both affected by gravity. How do they float? We're going to do that right now. I'd like you to bring the cat position into play. So as we draw up the center of the spine, let the head kind of fall. And now we're going to drift backwards with the hips towards the heel while we keep that inflection. So while we're flexing the spine, we're drawing back the hips. Now, get down as low as you can go with that booty to that nice lengthening through the quadriceps. And then we're going to reverse in spot. So I'd like you to begin to cow through this position, chest pushing forward, nice and proud. Back of head pulling to the sky, kind of like a sprinter about to explode out of the blocks before they run their 100-meter race. We're going to hold on that, draw the belly up, and shift the body forward so that we bring weight bearing back in. Now, if you drew the belly up and pulled forward and it felt like there's tension in the belly, that's what you were going for. Great job. Now we're going to do this all over again. Flex the spine, draw back the hips, all the way back. Settle it down, keeping the spine nice and long. Filling the lungs with air, crowding out the chest, making the spine long as we drift back forward. And now we have our movement pattern. So slowly move between the 2 points. We're really articulating the spinal column and really kind of utilizing a lot of our lengthening processes for these muscles that get abused when we sit for long periods of time. So this little exercise is kind of good if you kind of need to bring some blood flow back into the muscles of the body. Now, a little iteration on this. Pulling back, keeping the flexion back. Keep the flexion in the spine this time as you come back forward. And now elongate the spine. So it's kind of like back of head and tailbone grip. Flip up to the sky. We're going to hold on this as we bring the hips back this time. So we're not spinally flexing, we're spinally extending as we draw back the hips. Once we get them back there, flex the spine and float it forward. Extend the spine, draw the hips back. So we just reverse the movement basically. Forward with flexion, backward with extension. Do it a couple more times. And then everyone being on all fours with toes tucked under, float the knees up off the earth. Our floating bear, I like us to do some scapation, some scapular push-ups, if you will. So I'd like you to lower the chest between the arms and then push it back up.
So the arms are remaining straight. We're not bending the elbows. We're just simply using the muscles in and around the shoulders and the torso to raise and lower the torso through the arms. Do it a couple more times. This may be daunting for some, but if it is, you can always do this on your knees too. The off the knees position is more engaging of a lot more muscle because there's a lot more workload. Couple more reps, and then everyone back to the knees. Put the toes under, so you're on the tops of your feet. Spread the knees to the width of the mat. Bring your big toes to touch or to point to each other. Draw the hips backwards. Walk the hands out. And enjoy that nice stretch through the anterior tibialis, the shin muscle. You lengthen the lats by walking the hands forward. Palms are flat to the earth. Fingers are spread nice and widely. Walk forward a little more, pull back, sink a little deeper, whatever it takes to get a little more out of this. And then when you're ready, walk the hands back in towards the body, up onto your knees as we flip the toes under, back into our bear, keeping the bear as we elevate the knees, we float it up and down with the chest, through the arms, elbows straight. Couple more repetitions. Knees come down, spread them to the width of the mat, tuck your toes under, drifting it back to child's pose with a wide stance, the arms walk forward. Feel that nice opening through those shin muscles. And the lengthening of the lats as we pull or walk the hands forward. Crowd the chest. Imagine you're taking the sternum, the chest plate, pushing it towards the earth as the arms remain long. Try to rotate the elbows down towards the mat itself, keeping the palms flat. Come back up and bring it into a seated position. Sorry, I said seated, semi-seated position on your left cheek. So we're going to bring our left cheek. If we had angles to go by, the thigh itself is on a 45-degree angle from the side of the mat, using that as our registration. I have my shin kind of running parallel to the mat. And I have my right foot stepped over the line of my leg, the line of my foot, aiming off in parallel fashion away from my body. Now, collapsing in looks like this. I like you to extend the spine and then bring your forearm down onto your floor. Cushion it as you need. Keep the spine nice and long. As we hold on this, like it, take your right arm, reach it up above the head, and then sweep it directly back over the ear. Flip the palm, rotate it down and face the earth. Hold long. Straighten out the elbow. Pull with the fingers and make sure you just haven't sunk into that left shoulder. Actively be pushing up, actively be reaching and pulling. Nice. Now, let that right knee rotate backwards. So you're just hinging on the outside of the right foot, pulling long the whole body. Now, keep the arm pulling long, rotate the knee back so it's pointing directly up. Sweep the arm back down. We're just simply coming out of this position to switch out sides. Are we having fun yet?
Yeah.
Yes. So much fun. All right, same thing. So 45-degree angle, shin running parallel, foot planted, reaching forward with the forearm. As my left arm now reaches for the sky and sweeps directly up over the air. Palm rotated to face the earth. Fingers pulling that full arm nice and long. Make sure you have them collapsed into that right shoulder. This is all activation necessary for optimization here. We're going to rotate that left leg backwards, hinging on the left outside of the left foot, growing long as we inhale. Exhale, try to get a little more length. Inhale, a little more length. And then bringing that leg back up, center left leg, Left arm drifting back down, coming back up onto a seated position. And scooch around. Now, I'm gonna extend the legs all the way up back to the staff pose. I'm gonna square up my shoulders to the right leg, and then I'm gonna frame that right leg with the hands and start walking them forward. Spine long. Avoid flexion. We're not working on depth of the stretch right now. We're working on spinal extension. So if you got low with a nice extended spine, congratulations. And if you didn't, we're working on it. Now I'm gonna reach forward with my right hand on my right toes. Like we did earlier, we're gonna pull the toes in towards the top of the foot. You're gonna feel that nice stretch on the bottom of the foot. And now we're gonna use both to create a little leverage with caution, of course. We wanna pull the foot towards the shin. Flex the toes, actually super extend the toes. This is like a big extension of the toes. And I'm gonna use my right arm to help pull my upper body forward as I try to lower a little more into that right leg. Very intense stretch. Feel it right down in the back part of the knee, maybe down into the mid part of the calf, maybe even deeper. If we release from that, come back up. Oh, we got tired of doing it? Switch sides. All right, walking down. Enjoying a couple seconds. So the important part is flexion. I can get really low. I can flex and get down there. We want to pull the chain of muscle known as our gluteal. That's why I'm asking you to keep the spine nice and long. Left hand, left toes, wrapping, pulling the toes towards the top of the foot, doing that nice flexion. You can see I got a little bend in my elbow. I'm actually trying to grow the spine out as I pull the foot and drive the toes. A lot of pull on the back part of the leg, feeling that, oh, almost feels stressful, but not quite. And then when we release, it feels really good, I promise you. See if you get a little deeper, spine long, neck long. Next breath, let it release. Shake out those legs. Great job. Come all the way down onto your backside. Woo. Oh. I'm going to pull the knees up and into the chest. And I'm going to circle them around a little bit. A little bit of lubrication for those hip sockets. We've been using them a lot today. I'm going to reverse the circle. And I'm going to let my left foot drop to the floor. And I'm going to bring my right leg up and over the left. I'm going to kind of nestle it together. I'm going to use my left leg to pull the right leg towards the earth. I'm going to use a slight resistance in the right leg as I go down, so it's a nice slow descent. And then I'm going to use the right leg to elevate that left leg back up. And then I'm going to do that a couple more times. So 180 degrees, this is really working 90 degrees in one direction. And I'm not talking the band. That's for Sue. I know you like those bad jokes. And then similarly, we're going to work the other 90 degrees. Right leg pulling left, left leg resisting down, and then left leg pulling the right leg back up with resistance. So about 3 reps on each side, nice and slow. About 3.
On each side.
Well,
We stand on one side.
say yeah. One side of 90, the other side of 90. All right, switch up legs, same exercise, opposite leg, not opposite side. Oh, I'm just enjoying it so much. All right, I'm ready to do the last set of 3 opposite direction, all the way down, all the way up with resistance. Because we're rolling over a lot of the gluteals, it actually feels like a little bit of massage of sorts. Oh, yes. All right. Legs extend straight all the way out. Pilates style, up we come. Drop the chin, keep the flexion in the spine as you pull up vertebrae by vertebrae and dive the hands down. Oh. Walking the hands back into staff pose. Holding nice and tall. Let's take that left leg and drop the foot right about the kneecap. Keep it down lower, depends on the flexion group, not on your hip, but ankle and then knee itself. If you can, find something that's, relatively similar to what we're doing. Basically, it's the number 4. We're gonna take that left foot, we're gonna rotate onto side of it and use the side as a hinge point as we lower down and raise up the knee. So internal rotation is when it's up, external rotation is when we lower. So the really strong activation is more on the inner thigh itself as we control the rate of descent and the effort to pull in the knee, met with spinal elongation. Try to keep nice and long through the spinal column as you pull in and lower, and then switch up sides. Range of motion on the down is one of the focal points. You can only get so far in before the body doesn't allow you to move through it. 2 things can't occupy the same space at the same time. So the external rotation down is much more important than the internal rotation up, but both have an equal importance if you get me. Rotation up, pulling hard in as I can, and then bringing down, trying to open with no external assistance, using muscles only through the hips and inner thighs. On this one, extend both legs out, heels come to the corners of the mat. I'm going to bring my hands onto my thighs, and this is going to slide them down all the way to the feet, and I'm going to lap over top with the hands. And this is a twofer. So we did the legs individually. You don't like twofer? Now we're going to pull the toes in and down. Feel that nice pull as I lengthen through the spine, almost like I'm growing out the base of the spine, pulling long. My body's really like at a 45-degree angle, pulling in that direction, crowding through the chest, pulling the shoulders back, finding that nice power from within as I lengthen, filling the lungs. So release the breath this time, release the feet, walk the hands forward, let the spine go into flexion. Inhale, extend, sweep the legs all the way back around. And I'd like you to position roughly a 90-degree angle on the knee, the shin running parallel to the mat, and the thigh running perpendicular to the edge of the mat.
And we're working the left leg or the right leg?
We're working our left leg.
Um,
You can do your right first if you want, but it's going to sound a little kludgy, and that's not what we just did. Someone's having directional challenges this morning. 90 degrees, and there you go. Now, my left hand's posted. I'm going to draw down onto my forearm. So I'm going to try to keep the spinal column in the same plane. It's basically angling up, so I haven't got any flexion in it. I've grown the spine. I'm going to take that right foot, and I'm going to bring in the heel of the right foot to the heel of the left foot, and open the leg so that the right leg is actually rotating externally. Feel a nice opening through that pubis area of ours, keeping nice and long for the upper body. And now I'm going to rotate my shoulder, right shoulder, towards the mat. I'm going to walk my right hand forward as I create 2 openings. That right knee opening backwards and the right hand walking forwards. And then I'm gonna walk it back in. And switch up sides. Oh my God, that was so easy. So, right shin running parallel to the edge of the mat. Right thigh running perpendicular. Left heel goes to right heel as the foot plants, coming down onto the forearm. On my right forearm, I'm going to allow my left hand to start to walk forward as I use the outside of that left foot as a hinge and open that right leg away. Body. Opposite direction, pulling. Up for a little more. And then come back up. Walk it back in. Flip it around and face forward so I can see everyone's lovely faces. Shake out those legs, shake out that body, bring hands over heart, and let me say namaste. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, thank you. There they are.